All right, folks. Welcome. Early rounds here in Wandering Warriors Cup 2. And we've got a fairly lopsided matchup, but these are always fun to see some different players, see what the big names are like in the first round, and what the underdogs could possibly achieve. Here in the blue, we have an American player who's been around a long time. Round 2100 ELO. Has been around the 2200 ELO mark as well. He comes in as seed 119. We had 128 signups for this tournament. Well, sorry, we had well over that, but we have 128 players in the main event in this tournament. And all of them are over 2K ELO. So he's playing as the Dravidians, and then in the red, we've got Barles playing as the Persians. I'd say Persians definitely seem to be the better nomad civilization overall. They're better, I think, in combination of water and land, but the Dravidians have some nice bonuses to work with. GodsPrisoner docked over here on the right side. We will do small trees. I also think I'm going to remove the fish mod at some point. It's a little bit too bold for me, but anyways. Game 1 Nomad. Doesn't happen every series. Nice to see this. And is it? Did I get the games out of order? Anyways. I think Game 1 Nomad's good. We had to schedule the cast Hoy and Lix, and then Hoy didn't show up. So that series was unfortunately delayed. Well, these guys are pretty close together here. And actually, the stone and the gold is directly between both of them. So if they don't really realize the opponent's there, and they both go out to take the gold in particular, that could be pretty awkward. There's more gold to fall back to here if you're GodsPrisoner, or down here. Same if you're Barles. But there's a massive bay here. So there's a bay in between. And the water is on 3 sides of the map. There's usually a landlocked side. Hopefully no one docks here. Don't think that's even possible. But I would say that water is a big focus. And you got to find out where the opponent is docked. And where the opponent has dropped TCs. So I'm good friends with a USA player called Scotty. And Scotty is pretty close buds with GodsPrisoner. I don't interact with GodsPrisoner all that much, but I remember playing GodsPrisoner like 5 or 6 years ago, so I know he's been around way longer than that. Typically an Arabia player, likes to play a lot of ranked Arabia, but doesn't typically sign up for a ton of events. Like I said, just over 2K, maybe around the 2K1 mark. Up against Barles, it's going to be tough here, but Nomad produces some different skill sets. And there's different potentials. There's a little bit more all-in potential, for example. There's more randomness aspect, more adaptation. And in theory, you could say that certain players at the top of the scene don't do as well with adaptation as others. Having said that, I really think Barles is perfect for this type of map. Barles, like, this map pool, I think really suits him. I think he's going to have a really good tournament. If anything, I would say if it was a more standard understood map pool, a map pool that had similarities in styles to every other tournament that's happening, I think Barles would maybe do a little bit worse than some of the others. But Barles he's just fantastic talent, seed 10 for a reason, and he's had a pretty good start. I agree with Ween Dinchester in chat, who I think plays later, right? Ween, can you remind me who you play? So he's another player in the tournament. I think he might play Lucho. That could be really good. But I think Persians are kind of a no-brainer. You start with the extra wood. You start with the extra food. But I think Dravidians, for me, on Nomad maps, are a bit better for team games. Because the pop space you get from the dock helps your teammates. And you could play kind of a one-sided composition in team games. So you can go for Navy. You can go for primarily Archer. But the fact that you can't switch into like something like Knights isn't really an issue in team games. Could potentially be an issue here. So I think Dravidian's great on team games. Kind of okay on Nomad 1v1. But GodsPrisoner probably would have planned out other civilizations that are higher in his draft. You can't say the start has been bad for GodsPrisoner. Things have been really smooth. I would also expect the start to be more difficult with the Dravidians compared to the Persians. Now, do they know about the others, though? So, GodsPrisoner, man, he scouted like crazy. He's scouted all the shorelines. So, he should know that, well, I guess he doesn't know about this. So, there's a chance that Barles is docked here. But he has a pretty good idea of where Barles isn't, which using process of elimination gives him a really strong idea. He's going to build a lumber camp now, which tells me it's going to be fast feudal. And then Barles did locate his opponent's fish. So he knows his opponent is fishing with his initial dock pretty far away from him. And he also located the TC with a sheep. So Barles is essentially thinking, if he goes water control, my fish have a pretty long lifespan, and I could get value from these fish before they go down. And because we're really close on land, I could pressure there in Castle Age. Barles brought in a bunch of boards too. He might have even brought in 4. He's walling up a little bit. And yeah, Barles is going to try some type of fast castle. Might not necessarily be fast castle into like knights or something. It could still be fast castle into a sneak dock maybe. Like walking down here and dropping a dock. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, the draft has random bans. I think it's 10 random bans before the players get to ban and then pick themselves. So we should see pretty good civ variety in this tournament. The dock villager from Barles coming home now just confirms that this is a fast castle and that he's probably not going to try and save his fish. Because if he was going to try and compete for his fish, most likely would have this villager building another dock. Now, Blue is going crazy here with the docks. He's going to drop a dock here. He's dropping a dock here. Barles actually sees this villager. But seems like GodsPrisoner notices he's been spotted. And Barles is going to drop a dock right next to the fish. This is a very uncomfortable feeling if you're GodsPrisoner, because this is supposed to be your safe space. So that's interesting. Barles walks home from his own, like his initial dock with the fishing ships. And Persian docks have tons of HP, so it's really hard to get rid of this. So Blue has to kill his opponent's fish while also having to protect his own fish here. Market goes up for Barles. Blacksmith goes up for Barles. His resources are looking great for Castle Age. And yeah, guys, this set is recorded games. Do I have a mod that could change the title of the stream to Barles versus GodsPrisoner, though? Because I think I forgot to do that. So yeah, we can't do any, like, any betting or anything along those lines because this is a recorded game series. Would be different if the results were in public, but yeah, don't check Wikipedia. Results are public for this. The other series was an admin loss to start off the day. So, fun, fun, fun. Okay, well, Blue needs to kill these fish. Like, right away, he needs to kill these fish. Barles is going to just simply run away with 4 of them, so the other 4 can still get value. Barles is going to be in Castle Age at a great time. And you're so torn if you're GodsPrisoner, because you're thinking, I got to kill the fish, but then you also don't want to lose the fish as well. So it's a good start here. He's going to have lots of fire galleys out. And we're going to have this dock eventually be whittled down. I think if Barles can fit 3 ships in here and get the war galley upgrade, could be really strong. These fishing ships won't be able to sail the whole way around because there is a landlock here. Barles did just pull 2 of these back. Like, it's stuff like this, guys, that the high-level players get away with. Being able to still get value from 6 fishing ships for this long and squeak out a couple fires to defend is just something you don't see every day. Even this fishing ship's coming back. And essentially what you need to do if you're GodsPrisoner is the second he runs with the fish, you go right back to the dock. Because then you're cutting off the fish from dropping off food at the dock. Essentially, he just chased the whole time to kill 1 fishing ship. And Barles still has this really strong dock. He's going to make it to Castle Age. Most likely going to prioritize War Galley. And he's getting the War Galley upgrade now. GodsPrisoner, on the way to Castle Age, has lots of Navy. Will get additional wood when he makes it to the Castle Age. And is going to transition towards land in some capacity. I would really like something like Pikeman Siege. Pikeman Siege would be really good. This is a good engagement for him. I think Barles is maybe keeping his attention on this. Okay, now guys, here's I'm gonna teach you something. Or sorry, Barles is gonna teach you something. So you pop out, so they group up and then you land the demo. Sometimes you'll see someone just pop out with just one fire to group up the opponent's ships, but that was perfect. Sorry, I can't take credit for that. That's Barles. And so Barles now has 4 fully upgraded fires right next to his opponent's fishing eco. And now GodsPrisoner has to run this way. And as he runs this way, these fires are gonna... Okay, so he keeps his fish alive, but there's... Well, there's fishing ships from Barles running, actually. Because his dock is getting hit as well. Wow, this is crazy. Look at the water, dude. It's like... just passing. This is wild. Both players are about to have vulnerable fish at the same time. Barles did a great job, but he doesn't have as many... he doesn't have as much navy, and oh no! Now GodsPrisoner is getting siege pushed on his gold. No loom either. So clearly he forgot that. So he gets pushed off of gold. He was going to go archers. And I mean, it seems like GodsPrisoner is going to have a really tough time dropping off his fish because his dock is over here. But he could send the fish around to here, maybe? Yeah, that's actually the play. Go fish over here. But then you've got bigger things to worry about. I think the archers had a window, but that window may have closed at this point. Now that your opponent has siege out already, 2 archers isn't going to accomplish much. Okay. 1 HP villager and 2 archers versus the mangonel. Who wins? Oh! Who said he's seed 119? He doesn't care about the rankings. He cares about the pride and the honor. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, geez. Okay. Well, turns out you shouldn't fight a mangonel with 2 archers and a weak villager. But was still a good attempt. He's got cheap siege now. He's still in this game. Dropping a second TC. He's running all the way down here for gold, though. Did he not see this other gold? Oh, no. Oh, that's why they call him God's prisoner, because God never shows him the way. Life is a prison. Oh, yikes. Okay, well, that's unfortunate that he didn't scout that. And he doesn't have a TC going up on this gold, so it's just going to be a couple vills on gold. Barles is on the second TC, has switched into the farms nice and early, and is just a bit ahead here with the eco upgrades. They both actually have the same amount of fishing ships, and they've kind of switched sides, which is pretty wild. If anything, the fishing eco is probably better for GodsPrisoner. He is Dravidians after all. But slight lead here for the favorite Barles. And, oh man, now... Man, he's still going to town with this 1 archer and villager thing. What is this strategy? Like, every time I look at the guy, he's got an archer next to a mangonel and a villager nearby. And this is the situation where if you fall into it with Dravidians, it gets really awkward because you can't make knights. One knight would clear up all of this. Barles would never advance forward against other civilizations in this way. But he's able to do so because he doesn't have the threat of any knights. Guys, there's something that you need to try here on Nomad when you fall behind, especially when you're the lower ranked player. I'm going to let you guess. It's Age of Empires. There's a million and one things that I could suggest. Oh man, big mangonel shot. He's probably already panicking. That's not the thing he needs to try. Yeah, castle drop. He needs to try it. Is it going to work? Probably not. Okay, finally gets one with the villagers. It probably won't work if the opponent has siege on the front, but you need a good siege engagement and a freaking castle on his face right now if you're GodsPrisoner. Oh man, dude, don't patrol into the dock. Don't patrol into the dock. No. No, all the ships are clumped. He's got this to look at. Barles gonna land the shot. Misses. Loses. Demo still hasn't hopped out yet. Okay, see, this is the moment, right? Like, if he has... Oh, God. It might not be the moment. Barles always has one more step. Oh, beautiful attack round from GodsPrisoner. That was sick. The demo did land for Barles, but the fishing ships will get sniped. And so clearly a forward castle is probably not a good idea. But he's got his 2 TCs. He's going to wall up a little bit. God's Prisoner showing his quality, guys. I'm really impressed. Like, obviously, I think everyone comes into this thinking it's going to be rather inevitable because it's Barles versus someone many of you haven't probably heard of. It's, 2650 elo or 2700 elo or whatever versus 2100. But population is very close. 5 eco difference right now. So God's Prisoner's not too far behind. He has less idle TC time than Barles. Barles just now adding TC number 3. And Barles will have no fish. I don't think that's a big deal. I love this from Barles, though. He knows that his opponent is likely fishing over here. So he's made an additional dock so he can go in and look for those fishing ships just to get a bit of value. Barles running around with a knight. He does know there could be monks. So I think that's why he's adding some scouts as well behind this. Yep, God's Prisoner notices him. Knight runs away, though. Scouts should come forward here in a second. Res collected higher for Barles. He is on stone as well. And a forward castle would be huge for him, too. So if he can keep this control, that could be in his plans. I think this TC could be ranged by some ships, which isn't ideal. But I think just not finding this gold has been such an issue here for God's Prisoner. Really unfortunate. He's going to get his TC down. Light Cav come in. He knew there were monks, and Barles is just here to... the perfect timing. He's also adding a ram. Almost like he feels like he's going to get the kill right now. Oh my god, he's also got 2 mangonels. He loses one, but he kills one. And yeah, this would be the moment if he had the stone to go for the forward castle. It's like, bam, an engagement like that. Castle on the face. That's how you end a Nomad game. And the eco's still looking great for Barles. 2 stable light cap production. Look at all these farms he has back here. Fully transitioned into the land eco. Persians are so good at that. And God's Prisoner kind of falling back. Falling away from this area, which is the right play. He doesn't have an army to contest this right now. You could, in theory, try your own light cav. So as we see the stables being dropped, that's what he's thinking. Dravidians can do that. Barles is going to see this, of course. Barles is going to kill the monk, so he has, like, every idea of what his opponent's doing. He's got all the vision. He's applying pressure. It feels like so much control for Barles, and honestly, the Vills should be coming. Yeah, Barles is not going to wait. Might even buy the remaining stone here, and a castle is about to go up. Economically, God's Prisoner has kept it close. In terms of the workers, anyways. I think he's been behind with some upgrades. He hasn't been able to find the best of fights necessarily, but this is just snowballed. Oh, Barles? Where are we going, pal? Barles is miscalculated. He didn't realize there was a mangonel there. Okay, now it's his turn to use villagers against mangonels. This is like the 4th time in this game that we've seen villagers against mangonels. Just nomad things. They're actually going to get it. This is why you get wheelbarrow. And he wants to drop the castle there, I think, because he's already taken out this TC. And he wants to maybe control this gold. Blue does know about that gold now. And so Barles will have map control on the front, and then he's going to have map control down towards the side. And yeah, God's Prisoner putting up some fight, but he's kind of falling apart here. He's trying to do everything he can. He's going to bring in a boar. But this castle actually just sets Barles up so nicely to continue a push, because he could just siege push from underneath the castle. Hit the wood line, hit the TC. And yeah, GG's called. I mean, Barles played very well. God's Prisoner wasn't able to keep up with him. I think there were key moments in this game. I'm going to tell you what I think the main difference was. I actually thought God's Prisoner's Castle Age was sick. I thought his Castle Age adaptations were great. I think Persians are a little bit better in that regard too. But I think the key for me was Feudal Age. In Feudal Age, he applied pressure against the fish. And I already talked about this, but I'll just bring it up one more time. The mistake, if I were to even say that, because obviously Barles is playing so good, is the second he showed up here with fires, he allowed this to happen. You can't allow this to happen. You're going to be making more Navy. This fire does not chase. Those fishing ships are not going to bring in food. But what they allow is for these fishing ships to bring in food. So you do not chase. You just leave the fires next to the dock. That's the only dock for Barles that he can fish with. The fishing ships are always going to come right back to it. So try and resist that urge. I think if the initial fire galleys stay there, Barles doesn't have near the eco that he has because he doesn't have the time. This fire galley would be sniped immediately because there wouldn't be fires chasing. And then here he did a pretty good job. I mean, obviously it's a Persian dock and it's Barles, but he also paid good attention to that. That's basically the main thing. Apart from that, I thought it was a great game from GodsPrisoner, but just those small little details, man. It's all the experience that the top guys have. And so Barles played it well. Things. Okay. Game number 2. We got Barles here in the red. He's gone for the Japanese. This map, you start with a fishing ship. You start with Vills. And those Vills start next to 2 buffalo. So you have a guarantee of 2 buffalo to use as scouts, basically. Obviously, starting with the fishing ship allows for a really nice build. Because that's going to bring you food income on your dock before your TC's even completed. And then you've got most of the bigger wood lines towards the middle. And there's the large hills there as well. And then everything else is kind of scattered around the outside. So that's the breakdown. There's also some hunts to take. I think the notable thing to mention is that there's not a ton of stone on the map. There's only 2,100 stone. So how many castles is that? That's like 3.5 castles. And it's also really hard to mine and get even 1 castle because it's only 350 stone per tile. The TC for Barles goes up immediately on the wood line. I'm curious to see how many fishing ships he can get to. Like, Saracens have no early bonuses for Nomad. So this is not a great Nomad Civ, in my opinion. I think what he wants, because he's the underdog, is he wants to YOLO everything on gold and use the market and go all in. Wouldn't surprise me if he wants to go, like, tons of archers with Saracens to try and disrupt the wood lines. Like, it really feels obvious to me that the Japanese player, especially because it's Seed 10, is going to have a better Dark Age. And GodsPrisoner is going to try and recover with the, with an aggressive buildup on gold. Also, the TC is really not good. The fact that it's on the gold might be good later, but the wood efficiency is actually going to be pretty brutal. Barles doesn't have to build a lumber camp, but if he did, it's even cheaper with him as the Japanese, so I think this should reflect the Barles having a extra villager or 2, or extra, like, worker or 2, I guess. So, but yes, I really was impressed with how GodsPrisoner played the Nomad game. And this is still your Nomad start. You do have some starts which are, well, let's just say this. This is closer to standard Nomad than some of the other maps. It still incorporates the water. Still have lots of the same potential. Some of the other maps in the pool, you do start with a TC, but there's transport ships like Houseboat. Or maybe something like Myard doesn't incorporate water at all. Inundation doesn't really incorporate water at all. I know it's early, chat, but do you guys have a map that either you're most looking forward to seeing in this tournament, or a map that's just your favorite in general? I am really interested to see the new Inundation play out, because I think we made enough tweaks where there could be some pretty fun games there. The pizza map? Oh, yeah, the pizza map. Piece of Pizza could be pretty good. I think it'll be very boomy games. It's going to be kind of like any arena-style map, where it's like either very boomy or extremely aggressive with no in between, probably. Myers produces some excellent games as well, yeah. I think this map is really solid. I think what we won't see on this map is a lot of very long games. So if you like really long games, probably won't see that here. Just because I think it can be so punishing. If someone goes water, they're guaranteed to find your fish because there's the full wraparound. If someone gets a real aggressive push rolling in the middle, could easily end the game. So Falling Star, thanks for the 20. Says, so long time, and I still love watching you. Keep on going. Hey, thank you, man. I will. Dugan, Peachy Kid, welcome, guys. Thank you. Mr. Vabsy, thank you for the prime. Tide Hunter, good morning. Rodrigo, Lollipop, what's up? Intrillo, D-Slats, welcome. D-Slats, 56 months. You're right, man. I realized that I am dangerously close to 32 last night and thought, man, I'm old. And then every day I stream and we have people resubbing for such long periods of time, it just continues to reinforce that I am getting older. That time is passing. But Age of Empires 2, that is timeless. That's what I say. Man, 8 fishing ships. I mean, the fishing ship numbers are crazy. I think what it is like that one extra fishing ship helps your build so much. You're able to smoothly produce vills with less on food underneath the TC, meaning you can have an extra vill or two on the wood, meaning you can make an extra fish or two. Right? I don't know if that makes sense. If you play it out, you'll get a feel for that, but that one fishing ship essentially just adds the potential to have another 3 or 4 more. All right, God's Prisoner. Big underdog. He's going to drop off his res here. He's going to click up. Wonder if he just goes galleys. I mean, Saracens have faster firing galleys. There's fish out there. They are docked pretty far away from each other. Do they know this, though? Yeah, so he's checking. Doesn't really have an idea. Definitely feels like galleys. I wouldn't mind it. Like, all-in galleys? That could be such a crazy swing, right? Like, you could kill 8 fish and then keep your 8 alive. Barles actually using a fishing ship to scout to find his opponent's dock right now. I think Barles might go galleys, actually. I think it still makes sense. T90, you are getting wiser, not older. At least I'm telling myself that before I turn 30. Well, I'm going to say the same thing to you that people said to me when I complained about soon being 32. Okay? Because there's a bunch of people here who are over 32 who were like, dude, shut up. 32 was my best year. That was my prime. You know, they got annoyed. Stop saying that. You're not even 30 yet, okay? You don't get to talk about being old. Also, I love how someone who's talking about wisdom is named Please Stop Painting Squirrels. I wonder where that name came from. I may have inspired that name somewhat. Do we need a squirrel emote, which is just like a painted squirrel? Why have I not thought of this before? Also, if you haven't heard the story, the context is important, okay? There were scientific reasons behind the spray painting of the squirrels. I have a video on that on my extras channel. Okay, galleys from both. Wow, we've seen so many different openings on this map. I've seen archers, I've seen like fast castle, I've seen fires. Now we're seeing galleys from both of them. And just passing. Well, they both patrolled. All right. And it's going to be a bit of a dance-off here, but there are 10 fishing ships for Barles, so there is a difference there. Plus, it's Japanese fish. So they're just going to try, like, this is where I think, on paper, obviously, Saracens are going to really like a galley war. But from a player perspective, you probably don't want to be doing the same thing as your opponent when you're the underdog. You want your strategy to somehow counter the opponent's strategy, and I spoke it into existence here. He does get a snipe. It's 1 for 1. But I think Barles will be very comfortable considering the situation right now. He's just, like, what the best players are going to do is they're just going to do it slightly better, right? Slightly better eco balance. Look at this eco balance. Barles is actually going to click up. That's ridiculous. I think a lot of that might be the efficiency of the wood as well. I think Barles brought in an extra elephant. He also is taking water buffalo. You could see it's pretty much just wood and gold right now for God's Prisoner. Really focusing on the galley mass. But he has fletching right now. His opponent didn't have it this whole time. And he also has more galleys. So this was the window here for GodsPrisoner to really apply pressure. Can someone guide me to T90 villager videos? I don't know what that is. If you want to hear the story about the squirrels, I could possibly tell it again later if we have some time to kill. But you could check my extras channel. Just search T90 and squirrel on the extras channel. You'll find it. I told the story in full detail there. And Barles a minute away from Castle H. That's a lot of galleys gaining on him right now. He's got to fall back. Barely saves the villagers there. Now he's closer to his reinforcements, so he's behind in numbers right now, but he just waits an extra 10 seconds. And he's going to match the opponent's numbers, which is what he's hoping for. So it's just some beautiful patience from Barles to recognize that. Blue's still got more ships on the field, but they have to travel across the map right now. How about the chicken story? I don't think I have the chicken story of the dedicated video. I've told it many times during community game cast, though. For whatever reason, I have a lot of animal stories. I think that's pretty much it, but... Dude, Blue's gonna be like, what? 18-minute castle age with all these galleys? What? Like, he was never expecting that. Now he's gonna use the market a little bit and click up, so still pretty reasonable time. Micro is still the key here. It's 3-1 KD right now for Blue. The fact his opponent's in the next stage won't necessarily matter if he doesn't have ships. Let's go, GodsPrisoner! This is a really nice dive, because you know it's going to get worse for you on water. This is the correct call. I really like this. Now, he hasn't found the fish yet, but he still has the potential to do so. And Barles is actually going to switch into fire galleys. His fish are still safe for now, but here comes some galleys. Dude, Blue, you've got to find these fish. You should know there's fish out here. He doesn't necessarily know about the third dock. But there's no way Barles doesn't have fishing ships. And you haven't seen a single one. So you've got to hunt. And there he goes. Barles is running. Now, he is also dropping the second TC. You know, there's a lead here for Barles in that regard. But he doesn't have the efficiency of the fish anymore. And no War Galley upgrade for Barles either. So Barles, I think, wants the War Galley upgrade, but he's been struggling to afford everything. And GodsPrisoner... I think he still could do a really good job here. I mean, Barles got Bod Canero for essentially 3 galleys now. So that does not really paid off. And Barles is just huddled in the corner. These fishing ships are on strike. Unsafe working conditions. The pay's not as good as it should be. And okay, the strike is over. It seems like the strike is over anyways. They're coming home. Barles needs fires here. Oh, man. And it's just another game where Barles just does such a good job hiding his fish. And look at this. He's going to sneak a dock, build a new dock. And here comes Barles now. Now, it would be crazy if Barles, who's had way less navy, could also end up killing fishing ships now. Because Blue has not been able to find fishing ship kills at all. See, Barles is kind of out-microing him here. Oh, Barles is working him here. Yeah, Blue wasn't able to find a single fishing ship kill, and Barles able to get a kill on a villager at least. Maybe? Maybe? Yep. It's a lot of Saracen War Galleys. Score's pretty close. The War Galleys are going to find the docks down here as well from Barles, who's still going to mix in fires, apparently. But there's going to be a lot of War Galleys around the map. This could control all the stone on the shoreline as well. All the stone is within galley range. But as I say all the time, it is a lot more focused on the micro side of things. Barles faster to the economic transitions in both games so far, so faster to the farms and the TCs. But I'm liking the extremes GodsPrisoner's playing to. He's playing with lots of numbers. He's going to go for Cav Archers now too, which I think makes a lot of sense. Can he manage the multitasking up against a player like Barles, though? In these in such a situation where you're so far behind. It looks like he's doing it, guys. Seed 119, about to find his way to the fish for Barles. He's got so many different areas to pay attention to, though. He's got a couple galleys here. He's clearly microing in the north, I think. And that's a nice cleanup there for Barles. And Barles is going to have some monks out. And uh-oh. A siege push from GodsPrisoner could be coming in. Man, I'd love to see him mine stone and drop a castle on this hill. Monk goes down. Barles was not expecting cav archers. Barles is sweating a little bit right now, I'm sure. See if blue can keep it up. His fish have been pretty much untouched this whole time. They haven't had to move around. His idle TC time is insane. 1.5 minutes of idle TC time. Really smooth stuff. Barles having to flee with his fish again. Now there's CA on the hill. What is Barles going to do? Normally, I would say trying to get into elite skirm is maybe a good option, but that's going to be tough to afford because he doesn't have the fish flowing. And then also there's going to be siege. Oh, blue does go into the TC, though. So blue's got to... All you have to do is you have to manage killing fish, defending fish, making villagers, microing your cav archers, and microing your siege perfectly. That's it, blue. All you have to do is all of that perfectly, and then you have a chance. And we saw the cav archers go down. We saw the war galleys go down. Though clearly hard to manage it all. And did Barles just kill... Hold on. Barles just killed all the fish. Barles swooped in here with these fires. And he knew he was going to lose these fire ships. But he focuses down the fish. I believe this is intentional. Yeah, so he turns around... I don't know. Maybe he didn't end up focusing on that, but this fire galley ends up sniping all the fishing ships because blue is looking down here and because blue is looking in the middle. And so blue loses all his fish and Barles still keeps his alive. That's sick. So, I mean, Barles has that, but, like, still he doesn't have the hill. And siege CA is a problem. Barles might try and go for lots of monks here. Maybe try and get redemption. Okay, he is going to get redemption. But this is dangerous. TC could go down so quick. And now, honestly, if you're blue, you might just want to hard patrol in your war galleys and just focus fully on land. Like, the time has passed where fish are everything. I think with how difficult multitasking is, I think blue just needs to focus primarily on this push. You can give Barles all the water at this point, and it should make a difference. There's the monks going for the mangonel. They switch targets onto the CA. See, I'm okay with that for blue. Because you could always make more cav archers. You could still apply massive pressure here. I think you could continue to push. Now, Barles doesn't have to worry too much about defending his fish in theory. Here come the war galleys, though, so maybe he will. He's trying to get kills, or conversion, sorry. And he's going to get the conversion there, so he gains a mangonel. Barles is, like, sandwiched. He's squished. He's in such a tight spot. But the monks have been enough so far to stop the siege. Dude, you have to have all your siege together if you're GodsPrisoner, and you gotta pounce on the monks. No, this is not it. Oh, he got so lucky. He got so lucky. He's surely not gonna get that lucky again. Just go in with the cav archers, bro. Come on, man. If he loses this mangonel, that's huge. Oh, but if he kills the monks, it's huge. It's okay. To lose 2 cav archers here is completely fine, in my opinion. You just got to keep the siege alive. You got to keep pushing. And Barles knows that. Barles is going to go for the mangonel. He has the hill with the knights. He is going to snipe the mangonel. And so now blue needs even more siege. It's what, 3 mangonels that have gone down. Keep in mind, 0 farms for him. 0 fish. Super scrappy game at the moment. It's still anyone's game. Until Barles claims this hill, I am not convinced that he has this game. The hill is everything on this map. And war galleys, they may or may not eventually find the fish. But again, at this point, I think everything is about the middle. I think if this wood line wasn't here, it would have been so much easier for blue to push. But he's always been... His units have been pathing around this wood line. It must be really frustrating. I think he just reacted elsewhere. Oof. And the micro just hasn't quite been perfect enough for blue. Against the TCs, against the monks. He does lose a lot of cav archers, but he snipes the siege from Barles. But that's a lot of monks for Barles. He's going to mix in some more knights, some more scorpions. And the war galleys. Again, probably not an area I should even focus on. Players should even focus on. Oh, man, the conversions for Barles have been so nice. Like, he gets a conversion there that leads to a kill. Gets another conversion, which could lead to a kill. Now there's knights. Now there's scorpions. There's no mangonel from GodsPrisoner. And the cav archers are just trying to take care of the monks. But if they take care of the monks, look at everything else. You've still got the scorpions. You've still got the knights. And Barles... honestly, should make his own cav archers. I just thought of that. His own cav archers would actually be really good with Japanese here. And it makes sense, too, because he has Bodkin Arrow already. He's going to get ballistics, though, for scorpions. I think one more chance for blue. You just need to get the cav archer mass up. Both players are actually buying stone. This will definitely go into a castle of some kind. Or maybe a guard tower play. Guard tower could actually be way easier to justify here, right? Because you just don't have a lot of stone. There's only these little tiles of stone. In a normal game, there's stone everywhere. So you oftentimes would just see a castle instead. But you may have to choose. Blue's going to try and loop around here. He's got to make some really tough decisions, though, because the Siege Workshop's about to be converted. Okay, he deletes that. Barles completes the guard tower on the hill. Barles doesn't have army at home, though. Barles with some crazy damage control. He'll lose some vills. There's no ballistics, though. So he won't lose a ton. And remember, new patch. Scorpions are affected by ballistics. And so as the cav archers run away, they will take some more damage. GodsPrisoner kind of falling apart in the middle. He does actually have the population lead, but a lot of that military, it's going to be complicated to find value. With the guard towers out, with the scorpions and the monks out, Barles always seems to have just a little bit more control. And this is now where you're maybe thinking about a defensive castle if you're blue. Hello? Blue abandoning the TC, I think. I know it probably would be a massive fail, and it would maybe lead to a lot of people saying throw. But I want to see, in this position, I want to see the underdog grab these vills, run around, and drop a castle, like, over here or something. He's microing his cav archers on this side. Like, a defensive castle is also an option. But, like, it's already looking so bad in the middle. I need to make it a little bit crazier than that. These cav archers have been forgotten about just for a moment because I think Blue's reacting to the guard towers and the scorpions and the knights and the monks from Barles. And now he's looping his whole CA mass. He's getting ballistics. He's getting bloodlines. He'll find some picks. Could maybe come over here to the gold as well. GodsPrisoner using that mobility. But he's had to ignore the middle. He will have enough stone for a castle. He needs this castle to defend him. Actually deleted his building there. Almost feels like that's where he wanted the castle. But I don't know if he could justify that now. The cav archers are in on the gold. What is happening? Barles. I guess the scorpions are a little too slow, right? So the scorpions are there, but he's taking massive losses. And oh my god, speaking of massive losses, GodsPrisoner is going to drop a castle right where he deleted that foundation. Oh god, the scorpions are here. The knights are here. The castle will go up. I mean, he's using his whole economy to build it. So if you do that, the castle's going to go up. But at what cost? It's very expensive. Barles is going to lose a lot of his army. But lots of idle time for blue. Blue doesn't save this TC. Barles is going to be an imp. And I guess, like, the last chance for blue really just comes down to how he uses these cav archers right now. Because imp is nowhere near for him. Barles is going to drop a castle here. He's had to buy the stone to do so. But with that castle and Trebs, blue will lose everything. And Barles says, okay, I'll take that building. I'll take that building. I like how he converted a Saracen market. Value. 75 wood market. Worth. Only gets the market. Doesn't get the other buildings. Not many monks anymore. But Barles might not feel like that's really needed. Because the Treb alone gives him such a big advantage here. Blue is no easy way to deal with that. The Scorpions themselves could probably hold against the Cav Archers. The nice thing about Scorpions on this map is the map is very small. So Scorpions don't have to travel very far. Anyone else really impressed with GodsPrisoner, though? I have seen someone be like 119 seeds so many times in tournaments and not put up near as good a performance. He's played really well. I think it's small differences with the fish in both games so far, and like how Barles has been able to hide the fish very well. But like Barles is like, the eco count up until that castle went up was very close. Blue's always active, being like all around the map with army. He's made Barles work. He's had a really good performance. I think there's an issue with the potential of these Cav Archers now. I really do. Heavy Scorpion for Barles. Let's go. Heavy Scorpion. Yeah, that's a problem. These Scorpions are coming, and they are heavy. No more light Scorpions. We've got the heavy Scorpions now. Castle will go down. Blue's going to try an imp. You could tell he was considering a ram push, and then his resources started to rise, and he said, well, maybe let's try imp. He has done a great job continuing to ask questions of Barles. Like, even when I think the Scorpions aren't going to do much, he continues to move around. Splits up his groups. Yeah, Barles is going to continue with more Scorpions. I mean, the weakness of Scorpions would be Bombard Cannon. And Blue can't make Bombard Cannon until he's an imp. So I like the choice. GodsPrisoner going to click up. Okay. Will we see GodsPrisoner make it to imp? 1 for yes, 2 for no. 3 minutes away. He may decide to tap out before then. His imp TC is safe. So he will make it to imp if he wishes to stay. Well, he might not, actually. That's a long time to wait. Loops the Cav Archers home. I think he's going to take too much damage. I think he'll take too much damage before he gets to imp, and he might call it before. I think Barles is going to get this one. About to be 20 Scorpions on the field. Here come the Rams! Let's go! Choo-choo! Ram train! I think a couple Samurai could come out as a response to those Rams, though. Trebs just get packed up. And, yeah, like, what's imp gonna bring you? You're gonna upgrade 12 Cav Archers if you're blue. Will those Cav Archers even be around? The Rams are going down. It was all so desperate. And I think blue knows now that this was his last attempt. I think we'll probably see him tap out after this. Because the Scorpions and the Trebs are just gonna come back. And, oh, into the Ram. Okay. Last-ditch effort. Tough to be that villager. Maybe he does the imp into GG. He's like, all right, the score looks bad for me right now. Let me at least get to imp so I could do, you know, for my pride. And once I make it to imp, then I can call it. Because it's too close now. You don't want to resign right before. All right, everyone who said we would see him make it to imp, you were right. Is he going to try imp onager, maybe? It feels like he's trying to get the onager upgrade. Okay, so he's going to try the onager upgrade. Because that would be a good move against the Scorps. But now the onager siege workshop is getting focused. No. Okay, well, no onager for you. That's his only other siege workshop. Man, this dude's a fighter. And he calls the GG. Barles is just, he's just Barles. He's just a beastly player. GodsPrisoner's playing great, though. Honestly, he's playing really good. I think if things go slightly different in Feudal Age, and even Castle Age, right? He struggled a little bit with the multitasking. Let's look at the difference in speed, if there is one. Kind of curious on that. Yeah, they're very similar in speed. I think execution, Barles definitely a bit better economically with his balance. But this is after Barles has had a massive lead for a really long time. This was a lot closer earlier on in the game. You can see here, right? Makes sense the Saracen player has more gold at this stage than food based on how everything played out. So scores 2-0. It's going to need to be a pretty crazy run for GodsPrisoner to turn this one around. Winning 3 straight against Barles would be one of the greatest comebacks in recent Age of Empires history. But we are in game number 3 now. And Barles has looked as good as you would expect. And GodsPrisoner is going to TC here? No, bro. No. Or maybe yes. I mean, maybe it works. So hold on. Let me go back. Let me show you guys how this starts, okay? So on Golden Hill, you start with your 3 vills on the hill. And then there's a crossing. And on that crossing are 2 sheep. So you typically, because you're in the dark, you don't have a scout. You want to walk down the hill. You find your sheep. You place your TC where there's food and wood. And, you know, you adapt from there. GodsPrisoner says, I see gold. This is too perfect for me. I'm down 2 games. We've got to do something. We've got to do something crazy. So there's no wood up here. There's no food up here. If he doesn't know about these 2 sheep, he is completely cooked. Because those sheep help you find boars and, like, really whatever else. This is like... I think he's going to struggle. But this is where most of the golden stone is. So Barles could struggle if blue can hold this position for longer. Maybe he's got a build order. Barles is the Italians. He's going to drop a very nice TC between the wood lines. And as you can see, Barles is scouting with sheep. That helps you find more sheep. That helps you find more boars. There's also areas with shorefish around that you can build mills on later on. There's 7 tiles of golds on the, I guess, like the player starting area. And okay, so he builds the TC there. And now you're just going to walk this way anyways. So, okay. Well, he finds the sheep, but he has to eat the sheep. He can't dock because he has to go for a lumber camp. And he forgot a house. Oh, oh man. This is so sad. He played so good the first 2 games. I mean, he probably didn't play a lot on this map. This is very different, of course. He probably lost all hope. Okay, he found the boar. Yo, he found the boar. I think he wants to dock, and now he's like, oh, my build is all scuffed. I can't do that. And now I need to scout with sheep. Okay, so hold on. He's got this, guys. He's got this. He's got this. He's got this. Okay, don't lose that vill, please. This could be a really fast game. He's going to be going uphill. All right, so he's going to scout with this sheep because he's going to get the boar. Here he goes. Brings it underneath the TC. Barles, other on the flip side, got some on wood so he can make fish. Already has a fishing ship. And has scouted everything. So he can find more pigs. He can find more boars. And now blue is going to go scout with a vill. Any chance this is a strategy to have priority in middle? You can have priority in middle after you TC the outside, and that can be a strategy, but your start is going to be so brutal if you do what blue has done here, and this is a perfect example of it. You need to use those 2 sheep to scout, and the first thing you take is your boar for food, not the sheep, like Barles did. Barles hasn't touched the sheep. The sheep are the scouts. Like, we added them for this reason, because we knew how brutal the map would be if you didn't have something guaranteed. I just think probably just not a ton of prep. Huge underdog. He played very well on the other maps. But he's probably finding out the hard way now, the situation here. Now, if he can get a mill down on the shorefish, this is a lot of food. So that could work out. And then maybe he gets lucky and finds the pigs here. Yeah, this doesn't control all the middle, right? Barles can always come in with something later on. Now, what's wild is Barles would never expect his opponent is here. Ever. But what's probably going to happen is Barles could go for Navy. And then Barles' Navy can actually disrupt the wood line. That's another reason. Like, if Blue goes Navy, Barles has the TC nearby. It kind of protects. Bengalis do get the additional vills. They do have the repairing, the auto-healing ships. But this is a lot of inefficiencies. Look at total worker efficiency right now. 70% for GodsPrisoner throughout the game. 83% for Barles. And 70% last minute for GodsPrisoner. And 87% for Barles. And this should add to a bit of a snowball effect now. Which should make this pretty over. The first two games were super good from GodsPrisoner. So I hope you guys remember that. And not this one. Barles. Has he not located... He didn't locate this gold or this gold. Ooh, I've never seen that before. Wow, so that's really unlucky for Barles. So he actually doesn't see any of his gold. And he's going to mining camp the middle. And that delays his mining camp as well, right? So it delays his uptime a little bit. The Barles will be in the middle. Here comes Blue with a very, 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 very long boar lore up the hill. Blocking. All right, keep moving. Can this guy help you as well with a little block? Little block? Nope, no block. Bill's just waiting because they have no job to do. It's just, yeah, this is just a rough build. How many people here have signed up for the Wandering Warriors Community Cup? We have a command for that, by the way. It's not WWC2. It's WWC2. I forget if it's a 2, because technically we didn't do the T90 Community Cup for the first one. So anyways, we have a WWCC, which is the Community Cup. Sorry, this tournament maps, but it's community tournament, so you can play at any elo. We have a bunch of signups already. I asked that because some people have been asking questions recently when we do community tournaments, and I could tell they want to know what they should do. So, I wouldn't suggest doing what GodsPrisoner has done on this map. You can always prioritize the middle after a better start. Is there any elo requirement? You can be as low or as high elo as you like. It's separated into different groups. So we've got 3 docks here for Barles. And he's going to be going for galleys. Has since found some extra boars. He's found his gold if he wants to fall back. GodsPrisoner does not know he's there, funnily enough. And GodsPrisoner is bringing in another boar. It's just such a painful distance to have to walk with the boars. He's done a great job finding boars. I'll give him credit. I mean, okay, I'm being a little judgmental. I will say, if his strategy is to go fast castle drop in the middle, this could get interesting. But he's not going to be able to take wood. So he needs a new lumber camp. And okay, he's going to back away there. Barles has an idea of the enemies here because he sees the house. And he must be super confused right now. Like, no one... Like, I was never expecting anyone to TC the middle like this. He could see the vills there. So he seems to know that GodsPrisoner has a TC there now. But Barles also knows the opponent doesn't have a dock. He's double-checking that over here. So if the opponent doesn't have a dock, he could just spam fish like crazy. And that's what he's going to do. So he's going to be on 10 fishing ships soon. And he's also mining more stone to maybe build a tower. And he's going to want to deny any stone income from God's Prisoner. You've lost the first 2 games, and you played your best. Game 3, time to take some risks. Switch it up a little bit. That's what God's Prisoner's trying. He's so at the limit with resources. He's just not going to get the blacksmith. But I think he can buy a castle, guys. There's no way that Barles can fully deny the gold, because the gold's right underneath the TC. So this is maybe doable. And then you drop the castle in the middle. It shoots both those towers down. You can immediately make some Ratha. And the Ratha could maybe kill some of the Vills. I mean, what would be crazy talk is if Barles actually walks across here to get to the other areas of the eco. No way he's doing that. Look, he knows that there's Vills over here that are unprotected. And because he has Navy... Oh, wait, he's going to tower? Oh, shoot. He is going to tower. Okay, so he's going to try and tower the gold. That's fine, though. Honestly, you let that happen if you're blue. You still just need to buy 100 more stone, and then you could just let that tower be there. And you could drop a castle in the middle, and the castle in the middle still does the job you're looking for. That's fine. You still take the other gold. I thought Barles was going to try and, like, sneak archers over here or something, which I think would be really strong. All right, let's go. He's going to buy the stone. Here we go. He's going to buy it. Well, he can't build the castle right now. Just let it happen, dude. Let it happen. I know it's uncomfortable. Just let this happen. Don't give this any respect. At least right now. You just have to be prepared. Maybe delete your house and then just drop a castle right in the middle. I'm not in love with that castle. Because, well, it's fine. It accomplishes what you're looking for. It takes down both of the towers here from Barles. And it can give you access to the other stones and golds here. He's going to get fletching. And Barles is leaving the middle. And Barles is maybe a little worried right now. Maybe a little worried. He's going to stonewall up. He shifts back onto the gold that's at home. But now where I'm really interested is what happens with these Vills. Like, where do you go if you're God's Prisoner? Do you go to the main base of Barles and try and do damage there? Or do you come get the Vills that snuck across? Does he even know that the Vills came across here? Wow, he's going to place a mining camp here. This tower is still a problem. He maybe needs to try and deal with this. He really should be taking the gold. But I think he wants another castle. Very messy situation right now. And Barles knew. Barles knew he had to keep these units out. If these units got through, God's Prisoner would actually have a chance. Man, is anyone else impressed with the build all of a sudden for God's Prisoner? I still don't think that it's necessarily ideal at the start. But he has found himself again in a situation where he's only 3 workers behind. He's made it to Castle Age at a pretty reasonable time. It's a pretty difficult spot for Barles to play out of. Just giving himself a chance. Barles has been really, really unique, though. Oh, man, Barles! Dude, this is actually crazy. Barles is going to stonewall this. So the Ratha can never come over. Wow, I never thought I'd see a player control both crossings here. What in the world? That's ridiculous. It's also super smart from Barles. He's like, fine, you don't want water control? Then I'm going to just wall up the choke. And now Barles could maybe take this gold over here. Barles might not need his gold at home. Now, does Blue have any clue this is happening? He could maybe see the Vills. He's taking down the towers now. I think what's going to happen is Blue is going to be attacked here. And he's going to try and react to it. And he's going to try and send his units home. And then he's going to run into the wall. He's going to be like, well, crap. And then he's going to call the GG. Let's see. Oh, a transport! Let's go! Transport ship! Yo! This is what Wandering Warriors is about. All right, so he's going to get over to Barles' side with a transport ship. There go the Ratha there. A Knight and Scout here potentially could get all these kills, though. Okay, so the other two make it across. I don't think the transport will survive. Barles needs to defend. He does have some monks. There's no defense here, though, for GodsPrisoner. And he's going to drop another castle. Yo, let's go, dude. Let's go. But this is devastating. And, like, Barles always just has enough, it seems, to defend. GodsPrisoner hasn't looked over here at all. So he's going to complete the castle. But he hasn't really done anything with the Ratha yet because Barles has the monks. Oh, man. I still think if you're going to go out and get swept, you want the series to be exactly like GodsPrisoner has had here. The first two games were really respectable. The game number 3 was an all-in, crazy, entertaining type of style. He really threw Barles for a loop. Really made Barles adapt. But there's not going to be a single villager over here for blue. So these got, like, this is funny. He's got only golden stone. And Barles is going to lack golden stone long term. So blue's probably not going to stop here because he's like, well, what's Barles supposed to do without golden stone? I've got it all. Good luck. The answer is if you have gold, if you have enough gold to make monks, you could probably hold from the Ratha, though. And I guess you would expect Barles to eventually hit Imp at a pretty decent time. Are we seeing petards now from GodsPrisoner? He just bought food for petards. He has no chill. He has absolutely no chill. These are the types of players that we wanted in Wandering Warriors Cup. You know, the 2K, 2K1, 2K2 guys who probably aren't going to make a deep run, but they know how to play crazy maps and just send it. Those two units get sent to heaven. And these units as well. So he had to delete those units because of the conversions. He's going to petard through here and castle drop again. Oh my goodness. Where's the best spot, though? There's really not an easy spot to drop a castle there. He's got 900 stone. Meanwhile, Barles probably can't believe how little this guy has over here. He's just going to make a siege workshop, probably to take out the houses. Why doesn't he transport vills? There's no navy, right? Like, the opponent has galleys. These galleys took out the transport last time. He has no wood. And you can only put 5 villagers in a transport. You need probably, like, 10 to 15. So it's not as easy as that. Barles has a crazy economy. He knows there's only a couple Rathas here. Blue losing the market is going to be devastating with the way this economy looks. And let's go! Let's go! Some people roll over and die without a fight. Other people, like GodsPrisoner, they know how to bring it. Let's go, baby! Let's go! Bring it all! Bring the petards! Bring the Ratha! Barles is imping right now. There go the petards. Through the house. Through the house again? Oh, we found a spot! Move! 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 Move, villagers! Move! No! Barles built a gate over the only spot that he could build a castle. And the castle spot is denied, and GodsPrisoner can't believe it. He can't believe what just happened. Oh, he's gonna try again? He's gonna try again? Barles built a stone wall now. No, Barles! What have you done to the poor guy? Oh. And GodsPrisoner resigns. What a moment, dude. What a moment. I mean, clearly, he recognized that there was going to be a castle there because there's villagers. Like, let's look at it from his perspective, right? This is from his perspective. He sees the vills there. You don't bring villagers forward like that for any other reason. And then, because of that one freaking vill, you know that there's a castle-sized building trying to be placed there, but the villager was just standing over top of the foundation. Barles played that perfectly. Now, is the game going to be won if that castle goes up? Well, there's other things to look to there. Red was on the way to Imp. Things were still going to be okay, I think, but obviously the castle doesn't go up, the game ends. What a fun series, though. Well played from Barles and from GodsPrisoner. If you have the salutes, and you all should have the salutes because it is in follower only. Sorry, it's a follower emote, so, you don't even need to be subbed to do it. I think both deserve their salutes. We got Barles moving into the second round. Going to make a deep run in this tournament, I'm sure. And then GodsPrisoner crashes out, but he played very well.